Cousin, it's me. I'm new at doing a tutorial, so I'm gonna have to do this in pieces. Starting with the same recipe that you and I were working from. Followed the dry measurements almost to a T. Quarter cup of sugar, so that was half a cup, plus I think it was plus 2 tablespoons. So I put that in, and now this is just how I start to sift it. It all sifts down. Okay, cuz we're on the next step, salt and room temperature. So make sure it's salt. And that's what I'm gonna do. You're gonna cut the butter in, and that's all. Okay, so that didn't take long. Mixing together, cutting in the butter to the flour. That didn't take long at all. It doesn't have to be where all of the flour has that pea, when you mix up cold butter and flour and that pea consistency, little peas. You'll see them in here like this, but it's not that much butter for that to happen anyway. So this is basically how it's gonna look when you're done cutting it in. You almost can't see the butter. So now you have to add the liquid. The recipe calls for warm milk or warm water. It doesn't specify how much. It just says you want to get the dough to a smooth consistency. So my mixture is half milk, half warm water, and it's not even boiled. It's just really hot out the tap. And that's it. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in. I do it very slowly. All right. Just showing you how I'm starting to get the dough ready. Okay, cuz so now I have slowly added in the milk water mixture, and it doesn't matter if you use milk or water as long as it's warm. The directions say mix it until you get a soft dough, and that you ultimately want to knead it till you get a soft dough. But once you've incorporated all of everything together, you're going to get this, and it's very sticky. So it doesn't say this, but you just have to do a very old-fashioned. Just have dry, flour around until you can sort of get your hand in it and get it around so that you can knead it. It gets to this sticky consistency. You just got to have a little extra flour nearby to sort of tap your hand in it or dip your hand in it lightly so that you can get a hold of the dough so you can knead it. Okay, because we have pulled everything together. Flour on the thing, the dough. And you only knead it for 30 seconds, or kind of have to have that nearby. Be careful, you're not adding more dough to the recipe, more flour to the dough. You're just using what you need to be able to handle it and knead it. You don't want to know how I have this camera jerry-rigged, but I have it so that you can see the knead. It's just bring it in like that, bring it over, and then flip it again, bring it in, bring it over. I feel it getting a little stickier. I just pat my hands with it because you don't want to knead it too much. But I'll do it one more time because you said if it looked lumpy, too lumpy. And a lot of this too, I'm finding, cause it's just instinct. What did I see? What do I remember seeing? Whether it was Grandma Ann, whether it was my Aunt Rita, for you, whether it was Granny, my Aunt Cecilia, whether it was just remembering what the ladies that you saw doing at the booth at Christmas in the village, whatever. So stuff I saw my mom do, stuff I saw Miss Fredericks do. So there it is. What you're about to do is knead oil into it in the bowl. I put a little hole, exactly. For those of you who don't know, for us West Indian folks, yes, this is a measurement, the cap. We all sit in when I rise. So this is the other reason why you don't want to knead it too much the first time when I first dumped it out, because you have to knead it again. Cake dough, you're just sort of twisting it into itself like a little fat. Not always. And you bring it in. This is the last step because you're going to coat this with oil and leave it in a warm place to rise. This was the fastest part, if you will. The hard part is waiting for the rise because you actually have to let this rise for about an hour and a half. And I did a little digging history-wise. And this is a quick soda bread. It's very likely traces back to the Irish influence in the Danes owned the land and reigned from on high, but it was the Scotsmen and the Irishmen who took care of the estates and they're for the slaves that put all the labor on those estates. So our madras is certainly influenced by them, and quick soda bread could certainly be something that's attributed to the Irish, except instead of baking, I guess we fry it. So you have to cover this with a warm cloth in someplace warm, and that's what's happening next. So the Johnny cake dough has risen, as you saw from my little picture there. I put it in the warmest place in the house, which happened to be in the windowsill. And as you can see, the dough has risen, not a whole lot, but it definitely did expand. You have to knead it again, just some, okay, cuz, so I keep this little plate here so I can tap my hands, because again, you don't want to add too much flour, but you have to deal with this. So you do want to knead this because you want the dough to be silky soft. It's supposed to be a little sticky, don't get it twisted. You just don't want it to stick too much between your hands. So the lightest, see how light that is? It's just like nothing. See how I'm constantly keeping it rolled sort of into itself so it stays in that sort of way. Okay, so you've kneaded it, and that's really it. You have to make these into balls. So, and what I'm gonna do is remember that the size of the ball is kind of sort of gonna correspond to the size of the Johnny cake. But I'm gonna make bigger ones this time, bigger and flatter ones. I can't tell you how helpful this is to, again, just touch it and move it, because the inside of this dough is sticky. Okay, and also you can see why you don't knead it too much at the very beginning or in any of the steps, because it has to be dealt with several times, and you know over kneading will make it tough. And you want your Johnny cake to be chewy on the inside and soft, so try not to manhandle it too much. And that's it. I'm just going to make these into little balls, and they're going to sit for a half an hour. And what you're going to do in the meantime is slowly heat your oil to heat up slowly, melt it slowly, and then bring the temperature up to medium-high heat. The oil is nice and hot, it's shimmery hands, but because I only have this one hand, fried fish or a knife. So poke your holes, drop it in, and they have to drop to the bottom and then rise to the top. And the key is to keep them dancing in the oil. The thing I'm learning about these is that they cook fast, but they can't cook too fast, because they have to cook long enough to cook all the way through, but you can't cook them too long, because, you know, then it's not a Johnny cake. This is really just about keeping an eye on it. These are coming out. You should hear deep sort of bubbling underneath it. And that's it, cuz there you have it. They are done. They are ready. You see the texture? There we go. We got it. Okay, cuz. Get to it. I want to see yours next. Love you. Bye.